Welcome back. After the success of our V-Rally 2 deep dive, we're crossing the aisle to the Nintendo 64. Today, we're revisiting the game that defined a generation, GoldenEye 007. We're running this at a 1440p internal resolution, roughly 6 times the original pixel count, and capturing in full 4K to preserve every detail. By stripping away the N64's aggressive anti-aliasing a blur, we're uncovering the industrial grit of the Arkangelsk mission as it was truly meant to be seen. The dam is a masterpiece of technical compromise. The N64 had a tiny 4KB texture cache, which is why everything usually looked like it was smeared with Vaseline. To fix this, Rareware used a repeating texture tiling method that we can finally see clearly here. But the real star is the portal rendering system. The engine only processes the specific zone or rooms you're currently in. It's the only reason a 62 MHz CPU could handle a map this large without the frame rate falling off a cliff. In this high-res output, the sniper towers, once just muddy brown blobs, become sharp, defined structures that prove just how much architectural detail Rare actually baked into these levels. Now we drop into the facility, and this is where the game's DNA really begins to show. Before GoldenEye was a free-roaming shooter, it was actually conceived as an on-rails game, inspired by Sega's Virtua Cop. You can still feel that heritage in the animation system. Programmer Mark Edmonds built a Skeletal Animation engine that was years ahead of its time. While most 90s games had 1 or 2 the death animations, GoldenEye has dozens. The guards aren't just reacting to damage, they're reacting to location. There are 12 distinct hit zones on every character model. Shoot a guard in the hand, and they'll stumble back, clutching their arm. Hit them in the leg, and they'll hop or drop to a knee. In 1440p, with the N64 blur removed, you can finally see the fluidity of these motion-captured movements, which, interestingly, were all performed by the Rare developers themselves in the studio parking lot. Speaking of the developers, keep an eye on the faces. Due to the tiny texture budget, Rare couldn't afford high-res generic faces, so they used their own. That scientist you see wandering the halls? That's likely a digital scan of an artist or programmer. Most famously, Dr. Doak, the man you need to contact for the door decoder, is a direct likeness of David Doak, one of the game's designers. Seeing these developer cameos in high definition is like looking at a digital yearbook of 1990s British game dev. Finally, look at the environmental feedback. Notice the chemical beakers on the lab tables. These aren't just background fluff, they are fully interactive objects with their own explosion triggers. Even the toilet stall doors have their own physics. The engine was constantly calculating the impact angles for bullet decals and glass shards, a massive CPU load that originally crippled the frame rate. But here, at a stabilized 60 frames, the physicality of the facility is finally revealed. It's not just a level, it's a living, reacting laboratory. By the time we hit the runway, Rareware was essentially throwing the rulebook out the window. The tank was a late addition that technically shouldn't have fit into the N64's memory. It's a high-poly model with unique physics, functioning in a massive open-air environment. On original hardware, this level was a frame rate graveyard, often dipping below 15 frames per second. But at a stabilized 60, the experience is transformed. Watch the tired tracks in the dirt and the billboard-style explosions. Even at 6 times the native resolution, the engine holds together, proving that the limitations of the 90s were often just an invitation for creative engineering. GoldenEye is more than just nostalgia, it's a blueprint for the modern shooter that's finally been cleaned of its 32-bit fog. If you're enjoying these high-res retrospectives, make sure to like and subscribe to help the channel grow. I'm Brian, and this has been No Drama Llama Gaming. Thanks for watching.